Thank you and a very good morning. I have to share with you that it's my pleasure, pride, and honor to be here to speak to the young minds of the future. The future of the country depends on you, and in many ways, the future of the world depends on you. So it's truly an honor to be here. I'm here to share a story about an industry that broke all the conventions and shackles. Also, my personal journey, my vulnerabilities, and my learnings along the way as I was a part of that industry and as I was a part of this growing global community. The idea is that the future minds are not going to replicate the story, but they're going to build your own unique story, your own unique value proposition, and your own unique future, which will make this world a better place. Life's evolution is all about shattering the conventions. That has been my first realization. We all start with a unique set of limitations. We are all caterpillars. The journey of a caterpillar from limitations to a future of infinite possibilities, that's what life is all about. And I'll share my story with you, right? I grew up in a small mafia town in the coal belt of Bihar and Jharkhand, a place called Dhanbad. It is about 4 hours away from Calcutta, now Kolkata, and it was totally infamous for its mafia activities. But in that context, I was lucky to have a nice, nurturing, enduring, loving family. And that family was further enhanced by a school that existed in that context called Denobly. It was like an oasis for me, like this is an oasis for you, far more grand. And that school had some finest teachers, and they became our support systems, and our support systems for life. That is the place where I learned how to imagine, and that is the first invaluable gift of life. The ability to imagine, the ability to dream, the ability to envision a better future from where you are. But you know what? Life also is full of limitations and constraints. It's never enough. So on one side, this fantastic family, the fantastic support systems of school, and some great friends, and a lovely game called cricket, which I was very, very passionate about, taught me how to dream, how to look for a better future. But there were also some realities. And by the time I was 15, the sudden harsh reality of my father's passing away hit me. And that put my family into deep economic crisis, right? We were not prepared for it. And that economic crisis actually lasted for more than a decade. We all rallied around, but it was not easy because my mother was a housewife, my brother was just out of college, and my sisters were still pursuing their education. Yet, because we anchored ourselves on education, and I have to share, I'm a professional business manager, we continued to pursue our education. We didn't compromise on that because we said that's something which will never go away. That's a lifetime asset. And I was lucky enough to be doing my MBA from Mumbai or Bombay. And then second reality hit. My mother was diagnosed with cancer. At that time, they were not the best of medicines. We were still in our economic difficulties. I gave up my MBA. I came back home. We were a small migrant family from Pakistan. And we had a small business. I started working on the business. Why I'm sharing this is that irrespective of who you are, you will have these unique challenges. And your challenges are yours, not mine. Your story is yours. But what helped me through this difficult phase was what I call leveraging and nurturing your support systems. Your friends are your support system. Your teachers are your support system. Your family is your support system. And when you're young, you often do not realize the value of that support system. I want to tell you that I could endure and get past because my mother, in spite of being a housewife, was willing to sit in a retail shop in Bihar. At that time, women would not be working because she had to support, right? My brother, who was just out of college, didn't know much about business, said no. So my friends from Mumbai, when I left my MBA, were so disappointed, they came to Dhanbad. Nobody visits Dhanbad. It's not a tourism place, right? They came to Dhanbad just to support, right? So your support systems is something, never underestimate them, never be shy of leveraging them, and always nurture them because they're an asset for a lifetime. And as I was evolving pretty much from a caterpillar stage to this stage of infinite possibilities, you got to build your life on some fundamentals. And these fundamentals are unique to you. What is your unique value prop? I had to choose how I wanted to define myself. And those are unique choices. I'm just sharing the choices that I made and how they helped me. The first was I built my life around trust. Trusting myself, my capabilities, my ability to be a part of the community. I then expanded that trust into relationships, nurturing the relationships that you require. I believe that if you can build on trust, there is nothing more powerful in this world. And trust is built around three things. The first thing is intent. If you don't have good intent, if I send you to the best doctor in the world, but the doctor doesn't have good intent, would you really go there? You will not. But if you have the best of intent and you don't have competence, you're not good in what you do, you don't execute well, would you go there? So would you go to the best doctor who doesn't know his job or her job? You would not do that. So intent and competence, they are the hallmarks of trust building. And once you build trust, many a times trust is lost because of lack of proper communication. So you've got to build communication mechanisms so you're always strengthening the trust and not becoming a victim of perception. With these three things, you get the power of trust. And power of trust is absolutely unbeatable. Trust automatically fuels collaboration. There is nothing in this world that you can do alone. You can't even make a life alone. You need two souls to come together to make life. The more you learn to share, to learn and to grow, the more powerful you'll become. The more you'll collaborate across the world, the larger you'll become. And the third is defining your own unique values. I chose to be humble, to be straight, to be authentic. You get what you see, and that made life simple for me. But I also energized it with focus, with perseverance, with ambition, with drive, and that became my unique personality. You got to define your own, and each one of us has their own. And the last piece was, when you do all of this, does it really, I'm a business manager, right? Does it really work in business? It all sounds very perfect, right? You're a good person, you got trust, you got collaboration, but in this difficult world called Kali Yuga, does it really work? And I want to share the story, of that business. What is the secret sauce that works? In business, there is nothing more powerful than trust. Trust increases the speed of work and reduces the cost of work. So I'm not taking how I took my personal life's learnings into a business context. And the second is that trust is not blind trust. There are people who operate in 4 zones. One zone is the zone of no trust, no action, no trust. Second is the zone of continuous distrust, suspicion. And third is the zone of distrust. I just don't trust you. If you can build trust in a business context, which is smart trust, which is backed by analysis, backed by good judgment, that will unleash you in your success and in your potential. And then I backed everything that I had created for myself with just enough anxiety. You can again put people into 3 zones. People who are very careless, very complacent, or very, very anxious, all the time worrying. So there is chaotic energy on one side, and there is absolutely unproductive, unutilized, ineffective energy on the other side. In business, if you can create the right level of anxiety, and many ways in anything that you pursue, that balance that comes with constructive impatience, The balance that comes with positive thinking, optimism, but also grounded in reality. And the balance that comes with the zone of just enough anxiety for productive energy is the zone that I would like you all to be in, is the zone that helped me the most. The last is, it's good to be humble, but it's not good to be walked over. You've got to be humble, but you also have to be confident. You have to have the courage to stand up on your own and stand up for what you truly believe in. So, the speed of trust, smart trust, and then just enough anxiety, backed by this grit, this continuous drive to pursue your ambition, enduring through it all, executing through it all. Okay. And then how do you bring it all together? So you bring the speed of trust, you bring just enough anxiety to do what? To expand your heart, pursue your purpose, whether it's business, whether it's anything. If you don't have a large heart, you can't win. But if you have a large heart and you don't have the smarts for it, smarts is not just what you learn in books. Smarts is how you understand your environment. Are your antennas up? Can you connect the dots? Can you pick the signals? If you can do that, then that again takes you to a fantastic place. Heart and smarts have to get you down to what I call guts. Ultimately, you need the gut to do something, the gut to endure through it all, the gut to deliver through it all. And then I've always said, you do it all, you need luck. And luck comes from the same support systems that I spoke about. Your attitude, your relationships, and the people that you have invested in. So did it all really work? All these are concepts, some of it is story. I want to tell you that it worked fantastically. India had missed the Industrial Revolution. We never really won in that space. We were like 500, 600 years behind. There was only one industry in this country that today has more than 55% global share. We could create an unviable industry. The IT and IT-enabled services industry today has got 55% global share. Nobody else. Highest GDP contributor to the country. It's not me. It's a set of professionals who made it all happen, but they all anchored themselves pretty much on the principles that I've shared with you. Largest private sector employer. If you combine the employment in the direct employment and indirect employment, it's more than $10 million. So the principles have worked to create leadership in the service industry. Highest service exports and highest share of total exports in the country. So if you apply the principles well in yourself and in business, it does work. This is the only industry, where we've been able to make it work. And it's not about being the best, in your zone, in your school. It's about being the best in the world. I grew up in an environment where we used to take pride about this train, and I know several of you don't use trains, but back then we used to use it, and it was Rajdhani, fastest train. The reality is that train even today is the slowest fast train. It runs 6 hours slower than any other train. And the whole nation runs 6 hours slower every day. So on one side, we've built industries which have got 55% global share, and on the other side, we still lag. The message I'm trying to tell you is, if you want to lead and you want to be the best, then be the best in the world, not the best just amongst yourselves. We brought the best to the country. We created the best within the country. And this is not my story. This is the story of the whole industry. But why I wanted to share is that 25 years back, I used to sit back home in that coal belt and think, why does this country not offer opportunities? I wish somebody would allow and unleash. And 25 years later, I sit back every day and I say, thank God we've created such a fantastic enabling system. At least there is hope to be the best in the world. And you can see that whether you see sports, whether you see some of the new industries coming up. And that's the message I want to leave with you, that you're the future of the country. You're the future of the world. But whatever you aim for the best. And as you do that, you have to keep the basic fundamentals right. Trust, your core unique value prop, collaboration, being the best, and then creating economic and social value. Your life is all about creating economic and social value. I'm blessed. I've seen that journey from close, and I'm also blessed with a very loving and happy family and friends. And that's what makes me proud, and that's what makes me happy to be coming here and sharing the story. As I close, I do want to tell you that this is not about my story. This is not about our industry's story. This is about you finding yourself and defining, creating, and building your story. Thank you.